guys, welcome to Sister Circle because sisters
have problems too.
That is right. Okay. Clink clanking.
Clank.
Yes.
Cheers.
So, oh my god, it smells like berries.
It's so good.
This
right?
is so good.
Calms me down.
Okay, anyways, hi guys, welcome to Sister Circle because sisters
have problems too.
That is right. In this week episode, it's actually my first episode.
Yeah.
I have a very special guest with me today. My bestie. We share a lot of misery and pain in relationship.
That's not a good thing. That's really not a good thing at all.
Yeah, let's give a round of applause to welcome Clarabelle.
Hi.
Yay! Well, before we start talking about the topic that we're gonna cover today, let me just explain a little bit why I named it this podcast Sister Circle. Well, because we're gonna be talking about relationship, right? And the idea of sitting down and really talking about personal thing in details is something rather of belonging to the feminine quality. Well, let me just tell you, actually, everyone, guys or girls, anyone, every individual, you have your own feminine and masculine quality. It's like a yin yang kind of thing. So you don't have to be a sister to be able to have this feminine quality, right? But it's just that the reason why I choose sister is because it's rather something that is typical for girls to sit down and talk about things in detail. Of course, brothers are welcome here in this chat as well, you know. And the idea of circle is because, is that idea of wholesomeness. You be sitting down in circle to talk about things, intimate things, and it give that idea of safe space to talk about it. All right, so I think that's enough for explaining. Let's just get started with the touchy topic.
Touchy is correct.
I mean both of us, we kind of share
the painful experience. Yes, we know. You want to introduce the topic today.
But okay, anyways, as you can see, the topic is cheating ever forgivable, right? So what's your understanding of cheating, actually?
Okay, so to me, I sum it down like one sentence is, if you don't want your partner to be doing something with another person, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. It's something that I think it's a mutual kind of agreement that you guys don't cross a certain line. Yeah, so just don't do it. right. And usually people would actually say that, when it comes to cheating, there would be two categories of cheating. People would normally think it that way, right? Which are the two ways are physical as well as emotional. So physical obviously means touch, so it can be touching, it can be hugging, it can even be sex. And for emotional, it's more of you keep thinking about this person and you forget that you have kind of a partner as well.
It's really just about violations of terms and conditions in relationship, right? Because in different relationship, to be fair, some girl, for example, seeing a boyfriend watching pornography is already considered as cheating.
Yeah, definitely. I have some friends who totally okay with it, or I know of some people who are it's fine, he just watches. And then there's some people who are totally okay with them having another partner. Those are what we call open relationship.
I know that I realize that for a lot of people, they don't talk about this kind of topic at all, because you just expect your partner to kind of know what you expect or how you define the word cheating. And the reason why, let me just tell you, the reason why that from my understanding, the reason why we think that we expect our partner to know what is the definition of cheating is because if we live in this heteronormative society, we believe we subscribe to romanticism. So when we talk about romanticism, it means that we believe that when we date someone, we love someone, it's gonna be a lifetime connection, that spiritual, physical, emotional connection. So if you have any mental, emotional, physical connection with anyone, that's considered as cheating.
Yeah, and if you ask anyone, any of those long-term couples, how they survive so long, they'll tell you that honestly, it's not all cherry roses. It's so happy all the time. There's definitely going to be disagreements, there's going to be fights, but what's most important is that you communicate it truly, like
Yeah.
both of you agree how to move on as well, and that's really what's important.
I mean, to be fair, I think it has a lot to do with self-awareness as well. You are supposed to be aware of yourself, of what you need or what you don't want, what you want in relationship. And this kind of thing, I understand that most of the time you wouldn't be able to know it when you are in the actual relationship itself, right? So, but if you can work on yourself first, that would be great. But if that is something that you just realize along the way, then good communication, healthy communication is very important.
Yeah.
But we are doing this podcast not to be saying what is right or what is wrong. We're not here to be discussing the cheater is bad, the cheating is bad. Of course cheating is bad,
Yeah.
definitely, but we are just here to tell you guys that is something more that we need to consider, that cheating is something indicative, that is something to be worked on mainly 3 things that we want to focus today. So it's going to be either relationship, the cheater himself or herself, and you yourself.
Yeah.
Is that work that you need to work on? Is the work of that he or she, the cheater, has to work on, or is there some problem in the relationship? And we're going to talk about it in our, talking about what has happened to ourselves,
Our personal
and
experiences.
and some key takeaway that we all can appreciate in our experience. Do you want to share about it?
I mean, I'm here already, so I
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Okay, so long story short, I found him on dating apps. Okay, not me, but my friend found him on dating apps, and she sent me screenshots. So definitely I did confront him about it. At first he was like, oh, it was an old account, and that's something that I told my friend as well, because my first instinct was to defend him and our relationship.
Yeah.
Right? But in my heart, I also knew that it could be an old account,
Yeah.
but if you recently activated it or used it, that's why it would appear on the feed of people.
Yeah.
Because if it's the old accounts, they usually try to hide it. And then he eventually fessed up and said that he created the account while he was with his army buddies. Yes. So I think based on the 3 things that we talked about, like AJ actually mentioned, you yourself, the cheater, and relationship, I think one thing, it was very indicative of our relationship, because before that we were having a lot of troubles as well. It wasn't just this occasion of like this cheating occasion. It was before that there was a lot of distrust. He lied about some other things as well. Yeah, then so it really showed as to who he was as a person in a relationship. But I also acknowledged that to a certain point it was on me, because of all the things that happened before, I was starting to become this person that I didn't like, right? I was starting to be a bit more possessive, a bit more jealous, but I also acknowledged the fact that it was on him because he didn't give me any reassurance at all. It was something that so we did move on from it. I did forgive him. I didn't leave him for it. But he wasn't able to give me that reassurance I needed. And I communicated it very clearly.
Why did you decide to continue on in the relationship at that point?
I think it was mainly because of the time that we spent together. He was also very nice to me. Given my history of like bad relationships, Hey, I'm admitting it out in the open. Okay, my taste is quite bad. Okay.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, but still, I think it was just,
Yeah, basically it's about the years that you spent
the years
together.
I spent like 2 years with him before this like cheating thing happened, and he also met my parents, so that was one thing. And then as well as him giving me the respect that I didn't really have so much in my previous relationships.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
you decided to kind of forgive him and move on with life. And as you can see, I mean, we will talk about the reasons we're going to apply this thing called investment model for interpersonal relationship, right? So the things that people consider to decide whether they would want to continue in relationship, and I will touch on that later on. But I mean, talking about my personal experience as well, similar thing happened. Well, let me just give you a little bit context. I dated my ex for 6 years, right? And surprisingly, not that surprisingly, he is straight.
Uh-huh.
So we in the third year, I think, and this incident happened. He was having a crush on a senior that we were both close with, and yeah, I kind of caught on it. So it's more of like emotional cheating.
Yeah.
You know, emotional cheating. I found about it, and I confronted, and he confessed. He was apologizing, but we broke off right away. Because I feel like I couldn't tolerate it. But few months after that, I decided to forgive him and continue on with the relationship. And something that I realized, not at that point, but years after, is the fact that, like I say, it's something indicative, right? So the problem that happened at that point was our relationship. It was firstly a long distance relationship. So I wasn't there to really be able to fulfill his needs, his wants. So and he was not consciously looking for an alternative, but the alternative just happened to be there. Yeah. So it's about, and another thing about him is that on him now, something indicative on his point is the fact that he's still dealing with the fact that he's dating a guy in a relationship, and that senior happens to remind him so much of me. Like we are so similar in anyways, like in a lot of ways, and she's a girl now, so it's like an alternative at that point, like a better alternative. Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think it's so much on me. Like I spend time trying to think about what happened at that point, what I did wrong and all that. But to me, realistically speaking, at that point, I don't think that it was so much on me to work on. But there's work on me afterwards when I decide to get back to the relationship, because I didn't know what it meant to love yourself so much. So I was too emotionally reliant on him. So I decided to go back into that relationship and forgive whatever has happened. Yeah. So see, something indicative. The reason why we want to say that is something indicative is because we are really just have to look into the root cause of this action.
Yeah.
Right. And it's important to be able to realize and try to solve it before, if you decide to forgive, and whether you would want to continue on with the relationship. I mean, to be fair, we can forgive it without having to really understand, but whether or not you would want to go back to that relationship, you have to really understand the root causes and try to solve it before you go back. If not, there's really no point.
Yeah.
Same thing might happen, or worse things might happen.
Yeah, it's the concept of like sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah.
That a lot of couples actually do, because when you meet with something difficult in your relationship, it's so hard to be the first one to talk about it, because it will bring you to a point where it's either a break it or make it kind of thing, which is why everyone is so scared to talk about it. Because if you do something wrong, or you guys reach a conclusion that, hey, you're not right for each other, it means that you're having to leave each other, and you lose that comfortable feeling with that person. So but if you don't talk about it, the fact is that you can say that you forgive someone, but you will never actually forgive them. Because in my case, and I think in AJ's case as well, we can say we forgive them, but that fear will always be there in your head. And if your partner isn't giving you that same reassurance that you need, or that you communicated to them straight that, hey, I need this type of reassurance, I need you to text me like whenever you go out, or just tell me when you're home. If they can't do that for you, I think you are better off being by yourself, because they are clearly not able to kind of give you that reassurance and decide that, hey, you're worth working on, you're worth staying on. And
I mean, I guess that is another topic entirely, the idea of like whether or not you would want to go back to this scarred relationship, right? So yeah, definitely it's a work on both sides that you have to consider. Now I think we is the best time to really introduce this model, which is the investment model for interpersonal relationship, right? Basically, people consider three things to whether or not they would want to continue on in a relationship. So these three things are: the first one, investment, is about the time and efforts that you put in this relationship. It can be your children. I mean, some people, they already have like children, and they would want to, if it's something that is so important to them, they would still choose to stay. Investment. Second one, pleasure. how much you still can derive that pleasure from this relationship with your partner, be it romantic or physical or sexual or any other ways, whether you still can derive that. And the third one is the alternatives, whether is there a better competent young man or lady, or to be able to fulfill you better in the relationship. So with these three things, of course, different people, we have different priority system, and we would arrange things differently. Some people would commitment, or investment is the most important rather than my pleasure. So if my pleasure is not fulfilled but my investment is still there, my children are still safe and sound, I would still choose to continue in relationship. And by choosing to continue in relationship means they would become more accommodative, become more forgiving, and ridiculing or ignoring the alternative. So let's try to apply that to our personal examples, right? So Clarabelle, apparently she was considering the idea of time, so investment, right? And the amount of pleasure that you still get from him.
Because I was happy with him, we enjoyed doing the same things, so decided
to forgive and continue on with the relationship. And same for me as well. I decided to think about the years that we have been friends before turning into a date and pleasure that I still get from him, and there was no alternative at that point. So I decided to continue on with the relationship. So these are the things that we would consider whether we want to continue on in relationship, right? So by being more aware of these factors, you would be able to really prioritize things better and see which one is more important to you, and whether should I continue on with this relationship.
I think it's a good framework for you to kind of step back as well and like reevaluate your choices, because when you are in your relationship itself, you are so overwhelmed with the feelings that you are that you have reacted based on whatever your partner has done. So you're being consumed by this feeling, and I think it's important for you to step back, just take a look, decide, is this really why I want to stay? Is it the right reason? Should I continue? Because
whether you would want to forgive and continue on. And now that I think about it, some people, they actually choose to just continue on without even forgive. I mean, that is it's we just imply that by choosing to continue is actually you forgiving. But it actually not. Some people, they haven't even tried to forgive the person and move on with their relationship. So just step by step, I think, before you jump into a decision of continuing on, ask yourself whether have you really forgiven, and can you actually move on with this grudge in your heart and continue on in the relationship, because it's not healthy. This really is not healthy. So but I understand that there are so many other things that we have to consider in life, but try to work on it and have a healthy communication with your partner on how we can best move on from this past experience or past scar together as a couple. So I think we have covered quite a lot of things today, touching on a really touchy topic.
Really touchy topic.
So if you guys find that you have some relatable experience, please comment below. We'll be happy to read all about them and share with us whether you find this investment model relevant or useful, helpful to you. We would love to read all of the comments below. So thank you so much for being us this week with Sister Circle, because
sisters have problems. Sisters
sister have problems too. I will see you in the next week episode. Bye.